Good afternoon. It's always quite challenging to speak after Dr. Gilpin, but I will try and because I'm often the French guy as well, so I will try to give you a French military perspective, maybe more concrete, more military on the continent. To give you a short summary, I would like to underline a main fact. Dr. Gilbin just spoke about competition on the continent. Right now, in the French perspective, I'm not sure that we can speak about competition with the US on the continent. Right now, our perspective, our strategic perspective, in a military point of view, is more cooperation than competition. And if you read the last statement of intent between Secretary Carter and Minister Le Drian last 2 weeks, signed by both of them, they are talking about the best military cooperation or the best defense cooperation than ever between the France and the US. And in my point of view, because I'm working on Africa, I've been working in Africa and about Africa for a long time. After the crisis of 2003, I'm pretty sure that Africa was the foundation of the restarting of the US-French cooperation about military aspect. The second one was Special Operation Forces in Afghanistan, but African, in our perspective, has always more cooperation than competition between the French and the US. And I will right now just explain to you in maybe 10, 12 minutes, thank you, what we are doing in Africa. One more. Yeah. Okay. I could speak about history, I could speak about colonialism. I could speak about the First World War, Second World War. I could speak about Léonard Sédar Senghor, the first Senegalese president, who before become the Senegalese president was a French minister in Paris. I could speak about that, but I do not want. I would like to speak about right now the current situation. And the current situation is very easy. 10% of the African diaspora in the world are in France. Around 600,000 people from Africa are living currently in France. And in the contrary, around 3% of French people, the number of French people living in Africa right now is growing with about 3% per year. So there is no, not only migration from Africa to France, but from France to Africa as well. About business, I think we are on the top 3 of the foreign investments in Africa: US, France, and maybe China and other, like you explained. Last example, a city from Mali. The Malian people, the main one of the most important Malian cities in the world, are just near Paris, Montreuil-sous-Bois. There is like kidding in France that it is the second city, the second largest Malian city in the world. It is a town near Paris, Montreuil-sous-Bois, with a lot of Malian people. That's why we need to be committed in Africa, because the links between France and Africa is not only history, secret agenda, blah, blah, blah. No. It's just a need right now. It's because it is our cousin, our nephew, our family, our colleagues near the next door of my office, and so on and so on. With a larger strategic perspective, as you can see in this map, right now, with the white paper, the last one in 2000, 13, sorry. Right now, this white paper you can find on the open sources in internet. In this white paper, the current president underlined that the Saharan Strip is the main priority for France. It's totally open. It's in our national strategy. Right now, you have the crisis arc from Nouakchott to Baghdad and Kabul, and this arc of crisis are from in Africa are from Nouakchott to Mogadishu, and our military main effort is not in Middle East. It is our second priority. Our first priority is in the Sahara Strip right now. The second milestone about the strategy, the French strategy in Africa, is the summit in Paris in December 2015, where the French president hosted the African colleagues, and they declared that Europe have to deal with Africa about security and common cooperation. And we decided, in a military perspective, to translate with very precise objective. And you can see in the slide that we have very simple objective. We try to train 20,000 African soldiers per year. It is our objective. Each year, the French military try to train around 20,000 African soldiers in order to have some local armies able to deal with the threat on their country, but able to provide troops in the UN peacekeeping mission around the continent as well. And the second objective is to contribute to the African peace and security architecture. And I will give you a map about the French framework in Africa, and you could see that this framework is totally the same than the African peace and security architecture. So, very easy to remember for you. The French commitment in Africa can be summarized with the triple C: continuum, continental presence, and operational commitment. What does it mean? First of all, the continuum. We try to have a continuum with start by teaching, continue by training, and finally to fight with alongside the African army. And we try to be at each step of this continuum. We have some people, advisors, teachers, trainers, able to provide teaching, basic teaching, staff college, work college, and so on. I will show a map. After that, we have some training team able to provide skills, military skills, like company skills, light armored cavalry skills, counter IED skills, and so on and so on. And after that, we have some operational commitments alongside our African comrades to fight, especially against the VOs. What is this? Just one before. Okay. This map is the most current continental presence for the French armed forces in Africa. You can see the difference between, you can see first, this one, éléments français au Sénégal, Dakar. This one, force française au Gabon, Libreville. And this one, force française at Djibouti. And the last one, the French forces in La Réunion. In this 4 base, you have a French HQ with a general responsible for the cooperation vis-à-vis the regional economic community. Dakar, the French general is responsible for the ECOWAS, and so on and so on. And they are autonomous to organize a planification of the training mission for the next year. And each year you have discussion between ECOWAS, the countries from ECOWAS, with the general and the HQ in Dakar. Okay, guys, what do you need for the next year? I need a skill about infantry. I need to prepare a contingent for Mali. I need to prepare a contingent for South Sudan, and so on and so on. And we check that, and we have a framework. We have a plan for the year after. After that, you have operational base. This one in Côte d'Ivoire, and this one in Djibouti. We have more or less one battle group for the army, ready to move, ready to intervene whenever we need to envoy them. We have some warship and some airplanes in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, and in Djibouti. There is some on a permanent basis. There is, no operational commitment, but they are ready to move if need be. It is like your special purpose marine air ground task force in Moron, Spain. It's like that. Okay, it is our permanent military battle groups base, and the last one are a specific tool. There are the 16 regionally oriented national schools. These 16 schools is quite original. These schools are the idea to be able to provide a very modern, accurate, curriculum, but adapted to the African continent. The idea is to provide what the continent needs. And for example, it's no need to have some teaching about the last the F-35 airplanes, or the next or the modern aircraft carrier, and so on and so on. It's not in for Africa. They need to be trained, or they need to be teach about infantry warfare, counter-insurgency warfare, and so on and so on. These schools are with people from France, advisor, teacher, but not responsible to teach the African, responsible to train the trainers or to teach the teacher, and after that the African teacher teach the African students. And just to underline the importance of these networks from France, right now the War College in Cameroon, we have a war college in Cameroon, l'École de Guerre, or the CSID in Cameroon. We have some French officer who did this course, and it is the same diploma from the war college in Paris. When you get the diploma from Yaoundé, you have the same career that if you have a diploma from the War College in Paris, okay? Just to give the example that right now, these schools are, in our perspective, at a quite good level, okay? About our operational commitment, as I mentioned, teaching with this school, training with our base in Africa, Dakar, Libreville, La Réunion, and Djibouti, training, and the last step is operational commitment. And obviously, I would like to give you some insight about Barkhane operation. It is the main French national operation in Africa. It is an operation in the framework of the G5 Sahel. The G5 Sahel is a diplomatic framework with Mauritania, Mali, Niger, Chad, and Burkina Faso. To start, just I like this map because it's interesting to compare your country, the US, and the African and the Saharan Sahara Strip. You can see that between Los Angeles and Washington, the French armed forces are around 4,000 people to try to do something. Between Los Angeles and Washington, 4,000 people. So it is really a challenge because we need to have ISR, we need to have intel, we need to have, very quick response force to be able to do something good in the good plane at the good time. Okay, and to do that, we decided to have a layout of, main operational bases and a forward operation base alongside this country. We have two main bases, N'Djamena and Niamey, with the French HQ in N'Djamena, with a French general, and we have some forward operational bases in Thessaly, Kidal, Gao, Madama, Faya-Largeau, and Abéché, and some people in Gao, but more like the liaison and contact people. Our main, we have three objectives in this operation. The first one is very easy to understand: kill the bad guys when and where we can find them. It is the first priority, and we have some good results about that, especially in the northern Mali, between Thessaly and Kidal. The second priority is to try to contain the threat from Nigeria, Boko Haram, and from South Libya, with our base in Madama. And the third one, maybe the first one, and maybe the most important, is the idea to help and to push forward the African army to do something alone. And we want, and it is our main objective, give to the African local armies the training, some advice team and so on, to be sure that they are able to do something against the VOs, against the main threat in their own country. It is the main goal of Barkhane. If you consider Operation Barkhane just like a kinetic one, you're right, because we are military and we want to kill the bad guy. Okay, but most important for us, and to give to our African comrades the tools and the planification and all the stuff they need to be able to do something alone. And if I may, if I compare in 2013 or 2014 and now, 2 years ago and right now, 2 years ago, there is no common operation between Mauritania and Mali, for example. There is no operation in common between Chad and Niger. Right now, you have a lot of common operation in a bilateral or trilateral basis between Burkina, Niger, and Mali, for example, or between Niger and Chad, or between Mauritania and Mali, and without French soldier, just short team able to call the planes if need be, the close air support, just 5-10 French people, and that's it. And right now you have bilateral operation, and I'm sure that you are specialists in Africa matters. Think about Mauritanian and Mali military operation together. 5 years ago, totally crazy to think about that. It was impossible, like between Nigeria and Cameroon, for example. Right now, we have some common operation. Just to end my presentation, I would like to underline a very specific tool. A lot of people don't know about that. It is the liaison and coordination cell in N'Djamena in order to organize the fight against Boko Haram. As you know, right now, Boko Haram is a main threat not only in Nigeria, but in Niger, Chad, and Cameroon. And in a peace-free framework, meaning US, France, and UK, we decided 3 years ago, to establish a short cell in N'Djamena, liaison and coordination cell, leading by rotation by a French, US, UK, and US officer. I think it's totally new because it's a short one, very flexible, very quick, and the idea is to have a common cell, able to provide inter-report, advice, and logistical support to the MNGTF, the African Armed Forces who fight against Boko Haram. And right now, the CCL in Africa is leading by a US colonel. So it's quite new as well. To finish, I would like underline one point. You can divide the French commitment in Africa and the European commitment in Africa. As you can see in this map, the idea with the French perspective, the idea is that we, as the French, are able to intervene very quickly because our constitution is very flexible and the power of our president is very large in order to authorize the French military intervention in the world. But we want to involve our European partners in Africa. And the idea is to have French soldiers first entry, and after that, we call for European support in order to do something. Just an example, in Mali, in the beginning of 2013, we launched the French National Operation Serval to destroy the VO's offensive against Bamako, and around 4-5 months after, the European Union established EUTM Mali, European Training Mission, in order to provide training mission to the Malian armed forces. It is the example what we are doing in close coordination with the European Union. In conclusion, I would like to give you some points about US and French bilateral coordination. After the Paris attack, our minister, Le Drian, and Secretary Carter signed a special instruction to give to our both French and US intelligence community the idea that writing for the other country is not the exception. Right now, in this framework of the special instruction, the idea to have inter-reports, operational reports, what we need to do together, releasable to France or releasable to US, should be not the exception, but the normal way. And the exception is to have no France or no US in the French eye. I don't know if you understand what I mean, but the perspective is totally on the contrary that before that we have some French-only reports, okay? Right now, the French reports are releasable to US, and the exception is not releasable to US. And about Africa, I can say that between AFRICOM and Paris, right now, the cooperation is quite perfect. We have daily, weekly VTC. We have monthly meetings. General Waldozer travel in Paris, travel in Africa to meet with Barkhane commander, and so on. I'm sure that there is some measurable progress, maybe, but right now it's quite perfect cooperation. And I would like to finish by this positive view. Thank you so much. I'm ready to...
Absolutely perfect.